Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another edition of Believing the Word. This is Lighthouse Bible Church, and we welcome you each week here. Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, we come to you with our question of the week. The Believing the Word show is designed to answer your questions about Christianity and the Christian faith. We come to you to answer the questions that you've asked to us. So if you have questions that you want to get answered about the Bible or the Christian faith, please go ahead and type them into the comment section, and we'll get to your questions in a future show or in a private message back to you, or whatever format you want. We'll get it done for you. So let's get right to today's question. This was asked by somebody very recently to me, actually. It says, I believe that we each can believe whatever we want to believe. That's a lot of believing. And we'll all be okay in the end. What's wrong with that? And that's about the way it was said. So the question says, can't we each believe what we want about life and death, and we'll all be okay in the end? Does it work that way? What's wrong with that?
It does not work that way.
How do you know that?
Well, I think it's worth starting out by looking at a verse in the Bible, John 14:6, that says, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man comes to the Father except by me. So okay. Jesus Christ himself says there's only one belief system that's true. And I always think it's interesting that it seems like mankind has never wanted to accept what is the true belief system. We don't want to accept that God demands righteousness and morality. So we make up a God who doesn't require those things. Or we don't want to believe in a God that says you don't need to earn your salvation. So we make up a system that says, we can do certain things to earn our salvation. When it really boils down to is simply as whoever has the Son has the Father, and if you don't have the Son, you don't have the Father.
Right, Jesus himself said that, right? So Christianity, you're making the case that Christianity itself makes the claim that it is exclusive,
right, that
it is correct, and that no other religions or anything made of man can get you to heaven other than that. So we have that. Are the religions of the world mutually exclusive? Do they disagree with each other? Because I know of some of them. For instance, Hinduism is a belief in many different gods, Brahman being, they would say the main god, but he's described as a mysterious being, unknown. Well, that's totally different than you'd say the Christian God. And then, in fact, Buddhism came away. That started as a rejection of Hinduism, and they came away from Hinduism, rejecting the Vedas and those types of things. So, and then you've got Islam that is, it describes itself as a monotheistic religion, believing in only one God.
Right.
They don't even believe that Jesus is God. So, that would reject in Islam any, Hinduism or any other polytheism. So all of these world religions, they have parts that don't go together.
Right.
So if it doesn't agree with each other, then one of them has to be right and one of them has to be wrong by nature, unless we have decided to throw logic completely out the window.
Yeah,
right?
And it's interesting that when you start to talk about religion and belief, we want to believe that there's many different roads that all lead to the same direction. But we have no problem of believing in things like science, mathematics, that there's one equation and this is how you do it, and that's the only way to get that correct answer.
Right. I mean, if you're building a building, you're taking measurements to do something.
Right.
You can't just say, well, I feel like it should be 10 inches today. Why do we have to cut it 4 inches long? I think we should cut it 10 inches long.
Can't 10 be 12 today?
Right. We don't have those choices. Right. So there are these realms in creation with measurements and distance and everything else of the physical properties that are constants that we accept as absolutes. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to the Creator, where we came from, where we're going, we want to develop things on our own. And I think that's one of the distinctives of Christianity, is that it's God himself who's come to us saying that I want to declare to you who I am. Mm-hmm. I have made a way because you can't make
And he wants us to know it. He wants us to know him and to really know him in a very deep way.
Yeah. There's one other interesting thing about this. This question again was, can't we all just believe what we want and we'll all end up okay in heaven? Another part of that is that we talked about the idea of the sin problem, that we all acknowledge it. You get down to the place where you all realize that you have a conscience that's burning you, that you've done things wrong, and how will that be dealt with? There's no other world religion that deals with that.
Right.
And as man comes up with these religion after different things, Rastafarianism and all the newer ones too, and everything else, the problem of sin needs to be addressed, and it can't be addressed except for through Jesus Christ's sacrifice on the cross. And there's proof for that, isn't there?
Yeah, and there's no way that, that's a man-made concoction. That's straight from the Lord.
Right.
It's not something that we control, not something that we can earn.
Right.
It's there's a sin problem, and there's an answer. There's a substitution, and it's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we were talking earlier before we started, and we were talking about when people try to look at religions, and it's almost picking a religion like candy. Like, oh, I kind of like that one, and oh, I like the show of this religion and the pomp and circumstance or whatever. Right. And as if they're all right, and you can just choose one. And I think the problem with that is that even in buying a car, we realize the value of saying, this needs to do what it says it's going to do. It needs to work, it needs to run, it needs to do all those things. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to buy it. Yeah. And we should be able to do the same thing with any attempt at knowing God. Right. We should be able to say, I want to have a reason to know that this is trustworthy before I subscribe to it.
Yep. And it's funny, I'm looking for a car right now, and I've done my homework. I've studied different cars, I've read reviews, I've gone on test drives, and that's what we need to do. We need to really study to know the facts and the proof that's clearly there. But you have to put the work into it. You got to study.
Yeah, amen. So you can find out, and even just in the beginning of that study, and you realize that these different religions present things that are completely opposite of each other. Right. One of them's right, one of them's not, and you can dig in and find out. And that's the good news of it, is there is excellent reasons to believe that Christianity is reliable, true, and God Himself has come to make a way.
Amen.
So. Perfect. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Great. Thank you very much, Dan Bonin, for coming by today. Thank you for watching. We want to get to your questions, though, so type some things into the comments section, and we'll leave you with the final question today. Just as Jesus encouraged Martha in John 11:26, so we ask you the same question to end the show. Do you believe these things? Have a good night, everybody.